Good afternoon, Liberians. Good afternoon, my fellow Liberians, where you are. Good morning, good evening. If you're in Liberia, we say good evening and welcome. There's another Constitutional Forum edition where we are going to be looking at Article 1 of the Constitution. And during our first broadcast, we look at our preamble. And in our second podcast, we skipped over the Article 1 and we went to look at the educational provision as is inscribed in our Constitution. Today, of course, as normal and regular, we are going to be looking at Article 1 with particular reference to the phrase all power. We're going to be looking at the phrase all power. The idea of looking at that phrase all power is for us to be able to understand and know what the Constitution says about us, what the Constitution gave us as a part or a whole of what we should know as a people, what we should do as a people. Okay, so that we can know our duties and our rights. You see, that's the good thing about our Constitution. That's the good thing about our Constitution. The Constitution tells you what you have right to. The Constitution tells you what your duties are. The Constitution tells you what the government's rights are and what the government responsibility and duties are. And my focus is to talk about our rights, our duties, and our responsibility. It is incumbent upon us to know these things. And if we know them legibly and really and keep them in our mind, we will be able to drive our government in the direction in which we want it to go. The government being responsible to us, like the statement said, the government is for the people, of the people, and by the people. This is the government. And if it's for us, we are the one who needs to drive this government where we want it to go. Given that background, we will look at Article 1 of the Constitution today. Please remember that in the past, when we look at the preamble, and we concluded at the end of studying the preamble that we have a history as a people. And irrespective of disregarding our history, our respective history, disregarding what we as individuals suffer, we look at our history as a collective group, and as a collective group, irrespective of our individual's history, irrespective of our individual tradition, our individual religious belief, our ethnic background, we identify ourselves as a one group of people, as a body of people that are wanting to forge ahead as a country. So when we recognize ourselves as a unit, we want to forge ahead. So we are saying, let's melt our differences. Let's melt our religious belief. Let's melt our ethnical background into one part. And we first of all step out of that part as one people, one group of human beings, one set of human beings with a focus, with a drive, with a determination to remain united. That's why we said that our Constitution first said that the government must always fight to promote unity. That's the first thing the government must do, is to promote unity amongst us. So we realize that the government has a responsibility to promote unity, but irrespective of that, neglecting that concept that is the government also expects us to be able to live in peace with each other. disregarding our belief, disregarding our freedom of choice, not taking into notice, not taking into not taking any value of the making the next person insignificant. No, we should respect each other freedom of choice, the freedom to associate, the freedom to align themselves, the freedom to speak. Let the person say what they say. That's the only way we know where we differ. But despite the differences, the government, it is incumbent upon us as individuals to promote unity. Look, I don't agree with you on what you said. I don't like what you said, but that's your right to say it, and I respect it. I love it. I like the fact that you say it. But you're still my friend, you're still my brother, you're still my family, and we can move forward with that. That is unity. That's how it is. So the government is to promote unity under the rule of law, which means come with your freedom of expression is your responsibility to obey. We went through that and we understood that from our last discussion. We also understood that while the government is to promote unity, the government is to provide opportunity politically, socially, morally, spiritually, and culturally. So long the cultural is for the advancement, all those it must be for the advancement of the society. The government will provide opportunity. What are the political opportunities? Political opportunity is to allow you as an individual to say what you want to say in the political world, in the political arena, in the political setting of Liberia, without trying to destroy the fabric of the country. If you're saying what you're saying in a positive tone, the government will appraise that, will approve of that. The government must push that thing forward. That is what the government needs to do. Okay, that is what the government need to do. So these are the things that we said as a government responsibility. But the government is not responsible. It's not responsible to make you say it. You are the one who's supposed to be willing to say it, and the government is to provide the security by which you say it. That's what the rule of law is. Give you the security, give you the protection to say what you got to say. But remember, along with that freedom to say it comes with the responsibility to the responsibility for what you say. If what you say destroy the peace, if what you say bring havoc to the country, then you are held responsible to prove those things. Okay, it's not who say it that matters, it's what is said. Who say it does not matter. What you say is what is the bottom. So it goes back to the fact that you as a people, we as a people, need to be able to stand up and understand this matter. We have to be able to understand this matter. We have to be able to articulate this matter. That's the bottom line of the Constitution in Article, in preamble. The preamble established that we must keep our mindset that all of us, the 16 tribes of Liberia, makes one country and we are one people. We must come together as one. We must promote the unity and the peace, the stability, the equality, and the rights of all of us at one. That is what the preamble present us to. Today, we are going to move into understanding one other valued, and that is the that is for us to look at chapter 1 of the Constitution. Chapter 1, Article 1 of the Constitution. I mean, sorry, I can't see your comments. Sorry, I can't read your comments right now. I'm still working on way, but I wish I can be able to see your comments and read your comment. In that case, I'll be able to respond to your comment. But put your comment on the video, by the bottom of the video, and I will come back and I will respond to those questions. I'm trying to think of like Sundays, every Sunday, to come out and go through the comments and respond to the questions. Maybe I'll do it on a different platform so that we all can interact. I'm still working on the interactive medium of this platform. Okay, but let us look at Article 1. Let us look at Article 1 of our Constitution. I know that it's different and it's really difficult, But these are some of the things that I want us to really discuss and look at it. I'm going to be bringing some issues up from our Constitution that most likely some people will say, well, yes, we do need to go back, revisit the Constitution, and put in some things into the Constitution. From studying Article 1 alone, I learned a whole lot. I learned that the word all power does not really mean all power. And we will get to that. The word all power does not really mean all power. And you will either agree or disagree, but we'll discuss it as we move forward. And I'll be willing to learn. I'll be willing for us to exchange the idea and learn what it is. Now, let's let us look at the Constitution, the Article 1. Article 1 of Chapter 1 says, all power is inherent in the people. Now, remember, this is our key phrase and our key phrase here. All power. That is what we're going to be really looking at. All power is inherent in the people or free government. Now, again, it's a all free government. All power is inherent in the people or free government. Now, question, please, question. If you say free government, then that means you are inferring that there is a government that will not be free. It could be a forceful or forced government. Yeah, like we saw in 1980 when the coup happened. The coup and revolution are not free government. They are imposed government. They are imposed government. Okay? They are imposed government that came upon us, not by the choice of the people, but by the choice of those who were running the government, the country. Okay, so then we should realize that. So we say all free government. We'll discuss that other all free government. Remember, all power, all free government are instituted by their authority. All free government are instituted by the authority. All free government are instituted. So all power are inherent in the people to what? To institute free government. To institute free government. All power, let me just read it and then we'll come back and dissect it. All power is inherent in the people. All free government are instituted by their authority for their benefit, and they have the right, to alter and reform the scene when their safety and happiness so required. In order to ensure democratic government, which responds to the wishes of the governed, the people shall have the right at such period and in such manner as provided under this Constitution to cause the public servant to leave office and to fill vacancy by regular election and appointment. Let's take it into dissect. Let's dissect it and take it into what is this thing saying in the summary? In a whole, it is saying that the people have the right to form the government. They have the right to change the government. They have they have the right to form the government for their benefit. For their benefit. That's the most thing. They have to say it for their benefit. And they have the right to change it and reform it for their safety and happiness. Now, you have the right to form it, to change it. You have the right to form it for your benefit, to change it and alter it for your safety and happiness. Now, but you can only do it. The second part of this statement comes and is particular. It's in order to maintain, in order to ensure democratic government. Now, In order to ensure democratic government, you can only alter, you can only change and you can only alter and reform this government based on constitutional provision. Nothing other than constitutional provision, which is the periodic term. So that means you got to do it at a particular time and under a particular circumstances. That's the power of the people. The people, all power is not inherent in the people. All power is inherent in, some power is inherent in the people. And we'll discuss that some power and we'll look at the all power. But let's dissect it and discuss it on the point. The first thing is say that all power is inherent in the people. All free government are instituted by the authority, and this is something. Government are instituted by the authority, and government and the people have the right to institute, and people have the right to alter and reform. That's what it says. The people have the right. The people have, by the right of the power of the people, they can institute, and by the power of the people, they can alter and reform. Now, what is the benefit? Let's go there. We institute government for our benefit. The government, when we elect the government, is for our benefit. That is for our benefit. The form of government we got is for our benefit. That's the problem. And that's one thing that we should keep in mind. That's one thing we should keep in mind. The Constitution said that we are to benefit from the government. And what benefit is it? We are to benefit from our food security. We have to benefit security, shelter, jobs, healthcare, education, road. All those are the benefit we get from the government we put in. All those, freedom of speech, freedom of association, all those are our benefit we get from the government that we put, the government that we institute. When we institute a government, before we institute a government, we ask, what is this government going to benefit me? What is this government going to benefit us as a people? So when a person stands up to talk, when a person stands up to let you know, these people will be able to let you know what they want. They will let you know what they want, what they're going to do to benefit you. That's the basic bottom line question. What they're going to do to benefit you. So remember, we institute the government for our benefit. That is the primary concept of the institution of the government. We institute the government for our benefit, the benefit of the people. That's why we institute. What is it that you want to benefit? When you go to the election box, what is it that you want to benefit? You are looking for what? Good roads. What is he talking? What is the government talking about? Laying off guiding principles for road policies for roads. What is it? What is the person telling you? You see, when there's a policy that articulates your view on roads, if there's a policy that articulates your view on healthcare, on education, on job security, on shelter, if there are policies governing these things that you agree with, that's the policy you're moving on. If somebody come with an idea of what it is to have good roads, you are able to say, yes, okay, I agree with what he's saying in this way, I disagree with what he's saying in this way. And that's how you move forward. That's how you move forward. That's how you move it from step A to step B. That's how you take it across the road line. Okay. Now, if we are unable to articulate these things, if we are unable to articulate these good morals, then we are stuck. We are stuck with things that we don't know. We be caught in a web of knowing that, oh, okay, now how can I move forward? It becomes difficult to move forward. But the idea is What do you benefit? What do you benefit? Remember, you are to benefit from the institution, but it is your responsibility to look at the benefit and look at these people telling you what they will do and evaluating it on the character and the moral the moral uprightness. If they are already upright, are these people that you can hold with their words? Like the other day, I was saying that I listened to Akara's great talking, and I was laughing because during the December before the December 8th election, um, the Honorable Akaris Gray said, or the Honorable Malu said that if Darius didn't win, he will resign. Akaris Gray came to support it when the press asked him, and he said, "Look, that is political talk." Listen, when then do we know when you are saying what you will do? If you say one word today and tomorrow you do something opposite, now, when people do that and you say, "Oh, that political talk," that's not political talk. That person is just a plain liar. You have to be able to say what you are. A man word is his bone. That's why we've always said you cannot be a man by changing your word tomorrow. Today, okay, so today you say one thing, tomorrow you say another, you do another thing, and then you say that, "Oh well, that was political talk." So when is it that you're not talking politically? When are you not talking politically? I had a workmate that I've always considered a father, and we always just call him C Square. He always said this: you either be a man or you be a monkey. You can't be a man and be a monkey at the same time. You either a man or a monkey. And when you always say that, if when you say you will not do it, you monkey. You jumping from tree to tree. And when you say you must do it, and that was his word to us. Always saying that to us. We're all working together, but you are always saying that to us. Be a man. You can't be a man and you be a monkey. He's always said it. Don't you jumping around people? You got to realize that you have to people. We have to hold people for what they say. We have to hold people for what they say. And that's the bottom line of it. That's how it is. That's how life works. Be a man. If you say it and you don't do it, we hold you responsible for not doing it. And for this reason, when we hold you responsible for not doing it, we'll always say to you that you did not do it. You can't be trusted. We can't trust you because you cannot say what you're going to do. And that's the bottom line. So the benefits of the government producing light is not a moral, it's a responsibility. The government must produce things that will benefit the people. The government building roads, it's not a moral, it is responsibility. That's what you're supposed to do. It's just like a father who supports his son or his family by buying food, by paying rent, by taking them to hospitals, making that's not moral. He can stand up, "Man, I'll take care of my children. I can do." That's your responsibility. You are a father. It's no moral. It's no brag. Where do you brag? When your children come out good in the future. When your child has gone to school, they have acquired their education, and tomorrow morning, you got a son who is a doctor, or you got one who is a mechanic, and he's operating and doing well. He got his own little shop. He's doing something. Then he said, "You see that my son over there. Now it's time for you to brag." Why? Because your son is making a contribution to society that is important. That is important. So we must always keep in mind that it is incumbent upon us to brag only at the result. That's the problem. When the government is doing its duty, its responsibility, is not a place to brag. Secondly, the next thing is that when you institute government, we say you institute it for what? For your authority. You institute it by your authority for our benefit. Remember, we have a lot of things that the government need to benefit from. We need the government to build roads. We need the government to have safe drinking water running into our house, pipe-borne water. we have the government the government is responsible for bringing light. That is a government responsibility. That is what we expect the government to do. But if we don't think that it is our benefit, then it's the other way. But the government is doing us a favor, then we miss the mark. Then the government that we instituted is not for us. The government that we instituted is not by us. The government we instituted is just helping us. So we need to make sure that the government we institute is for us and for our duty to do things that will benefit us. That's the first thing we need to keep in mind. The next thing is that when we institute a free government, remember I told you we discussed a non-free government. When we institute a free government, we have the right, we have the power to change and alter and reform, which is to change and reform the government. We can change the government, we can reform the government. We can change the government, we can reform the government. When you change the government at the election, the government is obviously reformed by the people who comes in. We, the people, there is no constitutional provision for us to reform this government. The only constitution provision is at election. When the word change and reform comes into play, it is talking about us going to the election. And that comes out in the second place. But we can change and we can reform the government for our what? Safety and happiness. If we are not happy with the government, if we don't feel safe with the government, irrespective of the benefit the government may be providing us, if we are not safe, if we're not happy with the government, we can change this government. We can reform this government if we don't feel safe and if we don't. So how can we reform the government? This carries us to the second part. Remember, we said that the government, we can save and reform the government by what? This is the bottom line. For our safety. We can do it for our safety. We can reform and change the government. This takes us to the second part of the thing. Now it's time for us to look at how. The how factor. The how and the when. The how and the when. The how and the when. Why can we reform the government? Why can we change the government? Why can we reform the government? Why we do it? Because our safety and happiness is not into play. We are not satisfied. We're not safe. We're not happy with the government. So it's time to change it. So let's look at when and how. In second part, I say in order to ensure democratic government. Now, underscore this democratic government in order to ensure democratic government. So that means we cannot, all the power we got is not to change the form of government, but it's not to alter the form of government, but to alter the administrative or the administration of the government. Understand me? All the power we have, we cannot change the form of government, but we can change the administration of the government. This is unique. Our Constitution is telling us that we will always have the democratic form of government. We will always have the democratic form of government, but we will change administration. We will reform administration, which means we will elect executive and legislatures. That's how we can alter and reform the government to have a different executive, a different legislative, but we are not going to change our form of government from democratic. It will always be a democratic form of government. That's what the statement is telling us. Now, when we have the democratic form of government, we're ensuring that this democratic form of government obey the wishes of the people. The people who have all power, which is quote unquote, all power, the people can only change the government not by impeachment of the president. It's not the people who impeach the president. It's not the people. For a matter of fact, the Constitution only talks about the impeachment of the president and the judiciary. There is no mention of the impeachment of legislators. And secondly, the Constitution provides the impeachment for the president and the judiciary, which is the Supreme Court bench, the Supreme Court, but it does not mention the impeachment of legislature. And when the Constitution says the impeachment of the president and the impeachment for the Supreme Court, it does not give that authority but to the House of Legislators. It gave it to the legislators. That authority is with the legislators. And it can only begin with the representative. So the question is it all power is in the people. Why is it that the people doesn't have the power to institute the impeachment of any of the senators, representatives, or president? No. So you can't limit their power. Our power are limited. As a people, our power is limited, very limited, very, very limited. We cannot institute the impeachment of anybody. We cannot institute the removal of office of anybody. Nowhere in the Constitution did it say that we can institute the removal. No, we got limitation. We got limitation of our power. The only power we got is to elect the government. Finish. The only power we got is to elect the government. Finish. That's all we can do, elect the government. The Constitution does not empower us to institute or to initiate removal of anybody. That's why Safele, Safele Joe, Safele Joe, the senator, was brave to look at Darius Dela and tell him, say, the people elect you to come here, but we will keep you here or you will get off. We can move you around. He was speaking, saying, and people were saying, oh, the man, no. I just understood what Safele, what he was talking about. Okay? I just realized what he was talking about. What he was saying is that the people cannot move him. The people cannot look. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. We elect senators and representatives, and those people got to serve at the will and pleasure of other senators and representatives, or else those people can kick them off if they don't like him. Look, from the way our Constitution look, if you elect a very good president, who is doing everything for the common people, the House of Legislature can impeach that person if that person is not in line with the way they operate. Why? Because they got the power. They got the power to impeach. They got that power to remove people from office. They got the power. Okay? That is the Constitution, whether you like it or not. So we all have power to elect the government into position. After we elect them into position for 6 or 9 years, or whatever time we elect them into position, they are going to stay there, and they only can be removed at the next election. Now, that's why our country is the way it is. That's why there is a lot of mass criminal activity going on in the country. That's why it is. That's why there is a lot of criminology going on in our country. You have people who are placed into power by people who can do nothing about them being in power. Who can do nothing to them who are in power. So, like, for example, why should somebody who is elected for 9 years, for 6 years, or for the for 3 years or 6 years or 5 years. They have never, ever instituted anything to benefit their constituent. But the constituent have to wait until 9 years or till 6 years in before they can remove them. That's crazy. That is purely, I can understand that. And then you come back and tell the person all power is invested in you. That's a lie. Today, your read my lip. It's a lie. We don't have all power. We do not have all power. The power today is invested into the legislatures. The power today is invested into the executive. The power today is not invested in the people. The power invested in the people is only to institute the government. The power to change the government and reform the government is limited. Very limited. So let's take it this way. If the people come together, they can only wait. Like, let me take president. We are the sitting president. Or let me backdate it. Let me go to Ellen Johnson, the former president. When the people saw Ellen Johnson and they felt that Ellen Johnson was not a good president, and they wanted her out of the seat, what can they do? Nothing. They had to wait for election. So she had to be in the seat for 6 years. She had Okay, people, sorry. Welcome back. Welcome back. For some reason, I don't know what's happened, but my whole screen just went just went blank. I mean, 100% blank. The whole screen. I couldn't. You know, bottle water. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't do anything. But I'm back. I'm back. I'm on, and I'm trying to see what's the crazy thing that went on, but I don't know what went on. Um, I'm just glad to be back. But like we said, like we were saying, it is incumbent upon us to know certain things. And then my thank you. Close the door behind you. Um, what went on, I can say I don't know what went on. But like we were on the second part of it, and we will continue going from there onward. We'll continue from there onward and make things happen. We will make things happen. We will make things happen as it's supposed to. Uh, you, um, yeah, I just need to pull up one of the stuff and get back onto it. But let's let's keep in mind, let's keep in mind as we started the discussion that let's keep in mind as we started the discussion and as we continue with the discussion, Article 1, Article 1 of the Constitution completely let us know continuously allowed us to know that it, that what is termed all power is basically no power at all, and what is what is shown us is basically a means of pacifying us. Is basically a means of pacifying us so that so that we can so we can feel as though we are making important decisions, but it's the other way around. Let us keep in mind that we the people we the people do not have any power. And I'll say this: we the people do not have any power. And I can say this emphatically, and I can debate it with anybody. Our power is only informing the government or changing the government or changing the administration whenever whenever people want or whenever the time comes. We can change the administration of the government when the time comes, but that does not mean that we have power. We do not have the power as Uh, okay, let's take it in. Let's take it in, and let's take it straight to the end. Okay. I'm not here to make anybody feel better or feel good. That's not my aim of being here. That's not my aim of being here. So whether you feel good or you don't feel good is up to you. My aim of being here is for the betterment of us as Liberians, and whether you feel good about it or not, sorry, I can't help you in that way. But is this now? Remember, we said that all power is really not all power at all, because it said that all power is inherent in the man. So when you dissect the word all power, when you say all, you're not seeing some. So we have the power to form, to institute. We have the power to change, but it's to alter and to reform. Now, but what is the limitation of alter and reforming? Yeah, we can form it. Yeah, we can alter it. How can you reform it? So we said, so those were the balance of the things. All power were instituted. You see, we have this is our power. All power to institute. We have the power there to institute. Okay. But it goes back to a lot of things that we need to take into consideration of. You know, we need to take those things into consideration. And what you mean by that and why you want to do with it is different. Okay, it's different. You know, oops. Yeah. What do we mean by all power? What is the benefit of the all power? That's my problem I got. That's my power I got, and that's the problem, and that's what I am trying to solve. That's what I am trying to solve, and move us from that point of thinking that all power means that we have the ability to, or the opportunity to do it. No, we have this, and we remember we instituted for what? For our benefit. The question is, what is our benefit? What our benefit? We also have the right to what? We have the right to alter and reform. When do we alter and when do we reform? That's the problem. Okay? When do we alter? When do we reform? But why is it for? We do that for our safety and happiness. Okay? We only do the reform for our safety and happiness. Sorry. Okay? We do it for our safety and happiness. What is our safety? What is our happiness? When are we safe? When are we happy? That's the bottom line. Now, like I said, in order for us to ensure democracy, which means we are not changing our form of government, we are maintaining our form of government, but what are we changing? We're changing the administration of the government. And in order to change the administration of the government, the Constitution demands that we must have periodic election. So only at periodic election can we change it. Now, we cannot impeach. As a people, we cannot instigate, we cannot institute, we cannot start the impeachment of anybody that is elected. We cannot indicate or institute the impeachment of representatives, senators, or presidents and vice president. We cannot impeach them. It's not in us. It is all left to the legislature. The legislature can do it. The legislature can start it, so if the people are not satisfied, if the people don't feel safe with the particular executive regime, the people have no power to remove that. The people have no power to take that one down. Why? Because the Constitution does not provide for it only at a regular interval. That's what the Constitution says. So when we're digging in the GAC over there, the people can no power over it. The people can make no effort onto it. Nothing can the people do. Why? Because the Constitution doesn't provide for it. The Constitution does not provide for it. If the Constitution did provide for it, the people will be able to move it. The people will be able to move the government. But the people cannot move the government because why? Its Constitution does not provide for the people to do anything. It's the Constitution only provides for us to form the government as a people. As a common people, we can only form the government. So when you come down and you say, oh, to cause the public servant to leave office, you can cause somebody to leave office if the president does not want that person to leave. If the person is in an appointed position, you can do it. If they're in an elected position, you can do it. We have nowhere in the Constitution there are provisions for impeachment of any lawmaker, or for the only impeachment for the president is with the lawmaker. So then the question, obviously, let's ask the simple thing here. What would you do? What would you do if the president was not singing the same song the legislators were singing, and the legislator wanted the president to sing that song, and the president is refusing to sing that song? The legislator can impeach him. It doesn't have to meet the approval of the people. He can be doing everything right for the people, but it does not matter. It does not matter. Why? Because the legislature does not sing that song. The legislature is seeing the president singing a different song. Okay? The same way with the people in the House. That's why the senator for Monterey County, Sir Philip, the Gizibor, was able to look at Darius Dillon after Darius' induction to say, the people elected you, but we will keep you here. If you don't sing the song singing, they can kick you out. That's what Darius Dillon say, yeah, you will move me. You will kick me, but there's no law that stops me from re-voting. So I will vote. So I will run again. That's what he was saying. So it's painful. It is painful that there is no proceeding set that gave the people the right to institute or to initiate an impeachment proceeding forever. There is no way. There is no way. So everything, the people, you are the people, we are just a rubber stamp. We are a rubber stamp. The only time we got power that at election. We got no power after election. Yeah, you got a right to gather. You got a right to gather. You got a right to petition your government, but your government doesn't have to do it. If the government doesn't do it, you, the people, got nothing to do but to wait until that time is over to vote them out. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Only election you got power. No power after election, so why not use that one power you get? Why not use that one power? The government, that's the only power you got. The Constitution clearly says, that it says that the people shall have the right at such period, understanding, at such period, and in such manner as is provided by the Constitution. Okay? The people have the right as provided by the Constitution to cause the public servant to leave office and to fill vacancy by regular election and appointments. The people don't do appointment. So regular election, appointment comes after election. And who appoints? The president. So it comes back to the nitty-gritty and the value of it. All power simply means all power to institute the government. There is nothing that says any power about altering this government. You got no power to alter the government except at regular election. Only at regular election, midterm election or general election. That's the only time you got strength, you got power. After that, you got no power. And I was saying this on anybody's phone that gave me a chance to talk it. This government, the government of Liberia, the people got no power in the government of Liberia. The only time the people got power is at election. So when people say all power, think about it before you just agree to it. Think about it. Think about it before you agree with it. Think about it. Think about it and be careful in thinking in the way you think about it. Because there is nothing that institutes that you have a power. No, you got no power. This is what I say. All power to institute, alter, and reform. Alter is to modify, make different, or change. Improve, reform is to improve, amend the wrong. But all free government is instituted, alter for the people, instituted for the people benefit, instituted for the people benefit, instituted for the people, instituted for the people benefit, and alter and reform for the people happiness. Remember, the benefit of every government has to do with what the people get out of this government. The government is responsible for the comfortable living of the people. Okay, the safety and the happiness of the people. That's you. What did people get out of you? What did you do with the people resources? What did you do with the people resources? The people must benefit from the education. They must benefit from a lot of things. Look, let's know this. The people must benefit. The people must benefit from education. The people must benefit from education, healthcare, roads, electricity, pipe and water. The people must benefit as is required. That's why you are the leader. That's why you are the leader. The people must benefit as required. You can't say the people not benefit and you decide how do you want them to benefit. How is it that it's not going to help them? Okay, the people must benefit, and you are the one to provide it because you are the one in the position. You are the one in authority. You are the one who should make the people benefits come to fruition. You have to make it right. You have to make it right for the people. You have to make it happen for the people. You have to make the people, you have to show why the people put you there. That's the bottom line. So education is not included upon whether you want it or not. Education is what the people demand. Okay? Education is the people's demand. You got to make it, you have to make it go ahead. Okay? So when you talk about the benefit, it's not a choice. The Constitution demands that you have to provide education affordable. You have to make education available. The Constitution provides that you have to make healthcare available. You have to make food. Agricultural food must be available. Security. No matter whatever range of security, it must be available. And that has to do with that has to do with freedom of speech as well, must be made available. So when you achieving these things, it's not something that you're doing that's your responsibility. That's your responsibility, and because that's your responsibility, you have to make sure it is implemented. Okay, so when the people safety, the people got to be able to be safe. When they're driving the road got to be well, it got to be well developed so they can be safe. What I'm not saying the road must be paved. I'm saying the road must be conducive. I'm not saying the road must be paved. I'm saying the road must be conducive. There must be roads connecting and going all around. Not roads only in the city, roads in the interior, bringing the people from the farm to the city, bringing the people from the interior to the city. There must be roads, and the people must be happy. And for that, you have to provide jobs. You have to provide security. So these are the things we're talking about. Okay, these are and all through the Constitution. I have not seen anywhere where the people can impeach. The people do not have that power. They do not have anything. All that is left with the legislature. So all power is not in the people. All power is not in the people. And keep that in mind as we go forward. All power is not in the people. The people have limited power. The people have limited power. And because they have limited power, they all have to live with it. It is limited power in these people. Okay? Thanks for following. Listen to the video, put your question there, and I can show you that I will take the time to answer your questions and to bring up the issues as you can find. Uh, Thanks for following up. Thank you for all your good work. We appreciate you being with us and listening to us. I don't know what we're going to do, but I can assure you of one thing, that we as a people, we keep in mind to abreast you of your rights and your responsibilities so that you can be in the know, so that you can make the proper decisions and you can make the proper thing. Right now, this is Benson Mason, your presenter and your host, signing off, and hope to see you on another day. Thanks again.